Look, Brian, it's Megan. She made it. Nerve.
Yes.
I want to start off by talking about season 2 specifically here, where
Okay. We can
it feels
reveal nothing, my dear.
it feels like
And
no
we,
subject is sacred,
yes,
right?
we have NDAs a mile long, but that's
Yeah.
okay.
But that being the case, what is something about season 2 that like shocked or surprised you when you were filming it that stands out to you?
That we
To me,
got season two. No,
yeah,
I'm
I was
kidding.
just going to say the fact that we got there. We kind of discussed this earlier, in that we have such a unique circumstance here, Megan, that we're talking about a show that was a hit maybe before you were born, or certainly when you were quite young. And here you are, a young journalist, talking to us today about a reboot that has become another unqualified hit. That in itself is a remarkably unusual thing in any Hollywood circumstance. It's very unusual to have it not only come out and be equally as popular, if not more so, after one season. Um, there is uh, there is a particular episode with coming up where Pinky really flips out at the brain. I don't know if they've showed it in the few that they've sent you, but I suppose I spent about half the episode screaming at Brain, and I love it. It was
It's
so
about time. Yeah.
it was
It
so much
was
fun.
a rant whose time had come.
Oh God,
Yeah.
I found a way to vent my little pink spleen, as it were.
Yes. Yeah. There's a musical. There's an all musical episode in the
Yes.
batch coming up. That's kind of a nice and pleasant surprise. And I shouldn't say I was surprised. Listen, I work on Futurama. I'm used to being rebooted. It's second
Good
nature.
one.
But you know, uh, we certainly hoped and thought we were putting out a quality product. So when it came along, it was just a delight that we get to do a season two and hopefully a season three. We're keeping our fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit more about this musical episode. That was something I was going to bring up anyway. So, Maurice, tell me what it was like to join in on the singing again. And Rob, for you specifically, I want to hear about this revisitation of Countries of the World
Oh,
that we see in the Oliver Twist episode. But
oh,
take it
Oh, I
away.
didn't know that was out there. Okay.
yeah, great. Well, since you know that, I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, I did not know that.
Yeah, we've been sworn to secrecy on what the musical is. Um, well, singing doesn't come easily to me. My friend Mr. Paulsen started as a singer, and that's where his training is. So I kind of have to be handheld through every note. And please don't give me a harmony because I will immediately go to melody and all of that. But we have a tremendous musical team, and they shepherded me through my few phrases, and I was able to make a contribution to it. But it's very exciting to be part of something so grand.
Yeah, the Oliver Twist episode, as I said, I'm glad it's out there for you guys to see, because I've not seen it. How did it turn out?
Oh, it came out great.
Yeah, see, that is a very big deal to tackle something like that. I think Dr. Scratch and Sniff Fagin, plays the Fagin role,
Yes.
and I love the fact that I get to be the bad guy and singing all this weird. He does a really cool parody of "Consider yourself at home, consider yourself." Think of yourself, you know, consider yourself so poor, consider yourself part of the scenery. And I love that we can tackle something that is so well known, and there will be people younger than you who are not familiar with Oliver, and they'll watch and go, "Oh, this is great." And then what they'll do, and this happens, they'll hear bits and pieces of the original of Oliver, and they'll assume that that was a ripoff of Pinky and the Brain or Animaniacs, because we're tackling something. It's such a high level, and I'm so glad it turned out well, because I've not yet seen it. I'm glad that we can talk about it. With respect to the updated countries, um, our dear friend Randy Rogel, who wrote the original one, wrote the little update that starts out with Montenegro and Bosnia Herzegovina. The Soviet Union is gone. And I love that. It is also um, a reminder of how pretty popular that little ditty has become. I would submit that you would maybe even agree that for that 2.5 minute, that 3 minute cartoon with no dialogue save for the music and the lyrics is a seminal piece of American animation. I mean, it just is. It's a
And a seminal
anybody
piece of
watch
American education. How many people have come up to you at Comic Cons
Oh
and
God,
told you that they passed their geography exam because they memorized that song?
it's incredible.
You
It
know,
really and
along with the state's capitals that Jess sings
just
as
and
backup.
Randy is just a virtual fountain of incredible gifts, especially lyrically. And yeah, when you can write something that has, I don't know, 50 million views, I don't even know how many views it has now, but and you don't even have to know Animaniacs. Once you see the little critter, Tunisia, Morocco, Uganda, Angola, Zimbabwe, Djibouti, Botswana, people just go, Jesus God, what is that? It's pretty cool.
My aunt is a first grade teacher. She uses it to teach her class.
Is that
Oh,
right?
fantastic.
That is right. But anyway, I want to talk a little bit about one of the shorts that I did see, the backwards Pinky, I think it is. I feel like a lot of, at least of the selection of the episodes that I saw, had this kind of almost horror element to it. Um, Between that and Rob, the email episode where they kind of get turned into zombies, or at least
Yes.
was. What do you think it is about these particular characters that are able to like thread this line with concepts like that still appeal to children?
Well, that is a very intelligent question. Not surprisingly. I don't know if you recall, but in the first batch last year, we did kind of a Pennywise one in which the character Pennywise was played beautifully by who's that? Peter Stormare, wonderful Swedish actor who is just a total badass. And I think and Maurice can maybe visit this better than I, but I don't think there's a huge line between horror and humor. I really don't. I think that they both, when they're done correctly, keep you on the edge of your seat, waiting for either the next or the next. You know what I mean? So they're both kind of a heightened state of awareness, and I'm getting a little existential. But I think when you've got a crop of writers that Gabe and Wellesley have put together, they get it, and they also have the benefit of growing up watching Animaniacs, and now they're literally in the driver's seat. So I think that it just I can't really pinpoint it, but I don't think there's a big line between humor and horror. They're both at a you don't just watch it like this. You kind of go,
We have senses of humor to deal with horror.
there you go.
I mean,
Yeah,
I
well
think
said.
that's why we've been
That's what it is.
imprinted with that, because without it, I think we go mad. There's it helps us face the dark side of everything, and I mean, just case in point, Lecter, Anthony Hopkins' Lecter, where he just goes at the camera. It's horrific, and you get the whole theater.
Yeah.
When I saw it in the theater, I'm old enough to have seen it in the theater, bursts into laughter, and yet he's telling the truth. I mean that those synapses that we have that help us process that are absolutely necessary. And this is an edgier Pinky in the brain.
Yes,
Our writers are
without
coming
question.
from a Rick and Mortyized place, if I may, throw out
Sure.
another show. We've just comedy has gotten a little edgier in the last 20 years, and so we've thanks to Wellesley and Gabe and their team, we've met those times. And it's 27 years later. Brain still hasn't taken over the world. He's pissed off.
Thank God. Yeah, he's
Yeah.
steamed, man. He's like, is this it? By the way, I love your little Groot over your left shoulder there.
Thank you. So I have about a minute left. I'm going to ask a quick final question, or at least I hope it's quick. But I was surprised, and I also loved the return of Julia in the
Yes.
Pinky and the Brain shorts. So tell me a little bit about what you think Julia brings to the Pinky and the Brain shorts, and what it's like to work with Maria Bamford.
Oh, Maria's
If you were
great.
going off.
We've been Maria Bamford fans for,
And
20 years, and so glad she's on the show. Maria, I mean, Julia brings a dimension to Brain that allows Brain to, it shows the Brain has this romantic side to him, this longing, and he's met his match. He's met somebody as smart as him. And like Holmes, like Sherlock Holmes with Irene Adler, it's intriguing. It's intriguing, and yet she's the enemy. So it's a
I
dichotomy to
have,
deal with.
and Pinky has kind of a kindred intellectual spirit, although Julia rules with a bit of has a little bit more, well, she has a lot more sway with Brain, because there's the sexual tension that comes in there, and the Brain's kind of going, it really is Brain's version of yes, dear. And
Mhm.
I just love that. And have you ever met Maria or spoken to her? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, she's a
She
genius.
is
She
so
is a genius, and we are insane about
insane.
her.
Well said, Maurice. She's just such a delight, so humble, so sweet. And man, when she starts to go off on her gig, and her comedy is so unique. There
Yeah,
really is
nobody's
no
doing
one
what she's
like
doing.
Maria
She's
Bamford.
amazing.
She's just beautiful.
Yep.